on top company, which are Kuala Lumpur Kapong and Bousted Plantation. Let me start.
Kuala Lumpur Kapong Berhad, or known as KLK, is a Malaysian multinational company. On 6 February 1974, KLK Berhad is listed on the Bursa Malaysia Securities Berhad. The core business of KLK Berhad is plantations such as oil palm and rubber. The company has plantations that cover more than 250,000 hectares in Malaysia, both Peninsula and Sabah, and Indonesia since 1990. KLK Berhad is one of Malaysia's third largest palm oil producer. The company has diversified its business activity such as resource-based manufacturing, include oleochemicals, derivatives, and specialty chemicals and property development. On June 2024, Bousted Plantations Berhad was listed on Bursa Malaysia. Bousted Plantations Berhad involved in the ownership and management of oil palm plantations, cultivations of oil palm and harvesting of its fresh fruit bunches, and the production and sales of crude palm oil and palm kernel.
Today, I will explain the trend analysis and make comparisons of the liquidity, activity and leverage ratios of Kuala Lumpur Kapong Berhad KLK and Bousted Plantation Berhad BPL. First and foremost, we will evaluate the liquidity ratios for both companies. As we can see, from 2017 to 2021, based on current and quick ratio, KLK shows an uptrend but has a slight decrease in 2021, and KLK plays better in the year 2020 than other years, whereas Bousted Plantation Berhad has fluctuated throughout all 5 years. Bousted Plantation Berhad did much better in 2017, indicating that KLK has enough cash to meet its short-term obligations without relying on other liquid assets such as inventories. In terms of net working capital, KLK fluctuated during whole 5 years and performed better in 2020, whereas Bousted Plantation Berhad had negative net working capital from 2018 to 2021. This explains why KLK is good at raising funds for its expansion. In terms of liquidity ratios, KLK outperforms Bousted Plantation Berhad. Following that, we will look at activity ratios, beginning with inventory turnover. Over the last 5 years, both KLK and Bousted Plantation Berhad have fluctuated. Furthermore, KLK and Bousted Plantation Berhad performed better in 2017, and despite the large gap in the graph, Bousted Plantation Berhad performs better in terms of generating higher sales than KLK based on inventories. Furthermore, KLK's total asset turnover is declining, whereas Bousted Plantation Berhad's total asset turnover is increasing from 2020 to 2021. This indicates that despite having a large gap with Bousted Plantation Berhad, KLK has been able to use its total asset efficiently over the last 5 years. It is because KLK has made good use of their asset. The graph of KLK's average collection period then shows an upward trend, whereas Bousted Plantation Berhad shows a downward trend. This means that KLK was able to collect the debt from its customer, despite the fact that KLK was slightly increased in 2021. But there is a large gap of days between Bousted Plantation Berhad, indicating that Bousted Plantation Berhad were unable to collect their debt on time. In conclusion, it generates that KLK is better at managing inventory and collecting the debt. Moving on to leverage ratios. As you guys can see, at the graph of the debt ratio and debt equity ratio of KLK have shown a fluctuated through all 5 years, while the graph of Bousted Plantation Berhad shows in part of the debt is fluctuated, but in debt equity ratio shows an increase from 2018 to 2020 and has a slight decrease in 2021, but still it's not yet good. In KLK, it has a better performance in 2018 and for Bousted Plantation Berhad in 2017. Overall, it explains that Bousted Plantation Berhad is good at managing its debt and faces lower financial risk, even though they still need to improve it.
Next, I will continue with profitability and market ratio from 2017 until 2021 for both companies. Let me explain profitability ratio first. Firstly, this is the graph of gross profit margin of Kuala Lumpur Kapong Berhad and Bousted Plantation Berhad. As we can see here, both companies shows the upward trend from 2017 until 2021, and they will achieve a good gross profit margin on 2021. Meaning of that, both companies indicate the efficient management in generating profit for every of cost that used. Next, let me look at the return on total asset ratio. From that, we can indicate that Kuala Lumpur Kapong has a good trend on that particular ratio compared to Bousted Plantation, show a decreases on 2018 until 2020. So it can be stated that Kuala Lumpur Kapong has a good performance in generate profit using its asset compared to Bousted Plantation. And this is the return on equity ratio. From the graph, we can state that Kuala Lumpur Kapong has the highest return on equity on 2021. Meanwhile, Bousted Plantation has the highest return on equity in 2018. It clearly shows that Kuala Lumpur Kapong show upward trend, but Bousted Plantation show a downward trend. From that upward trend, it shows that Kuala Lumpur Kapong more efficient in using shareholder value to generate additional profits. Now let me move to earning per share, one of the market ratio. In this graph, it shows that both of companies show a mixed result to earning per share, as Kuala Lumpur Kepong show a higher earning per share on 2019, but Bousted Plantation resulted to higher earning per share in 2017. So it can conclude that Bousted Plantation show the downward trend, and it indicates that companies show a poor indication about the health of the company and give a lower return to the shareholders. Next, book value per share. In this graph, it shows that both of companies show a downward trend from 2017, and it effectively indicates that both of companies expect the share to grow and produce profit in the future by having a book value per share lower than their current market share price, which are publicly traded. And last but not least for today is dividend yield. As we can see from this graph, both of companies show a greatest dividend yield on 2021. From that, it can state that Kuala Lumpur Kepong and Bousted Plantation has a good performance in terms of dividend payout. And I think that a good investment for investors, as these companies offer a good payoff option.
In conclusion, Kuala Lumpur Kepong Berhad are more able to pay its current obligation than Bousted Plantation. Both our firms have an unfavorable in most of ratios, which are liquidity, activity, and leverage ratio. Even though Kuala Lumpur Kepong decreasing in ratios performance in year 2021, however, the company managed to work efficiently in generating sales and cash. Next, for profitability ratio, Kuala Lumpur Kepong is getting more profit than the Bousted Plantation for overall. Lastly, both firms have shown good performance in market ratio as their value increased in 2021 compared to 2020. Overall, Kuala Lumpur Kepong Berhad has performed well in its operations and financial in year 2021. For Bousted Plantation Berhad, it has an unfavorable in most of ratios. The company needs to improve many things in order to operating well. So the company needs to make new strategies to survive in these industries. That's all for this week. Thank you. See you again.